big-time nights. Doncic, top three, and immediately turns to the Mavericks bench.
It's just so weird. The moments felt like I don't know what I was doing.
Doncic and LeBron, the greatest combo going right now, just toying with him. Doncic the triple-double in his first game against his old team. Did not disappoint.
And he joined the league company as the fourth Lakers player to record a triple-double within his first 5 games with the team. He joins Russell Westbrook in 2021-2022, LeBron James in 2018 and 2019, and Magic Johnson in his rookie season, 79 and 80. It's the story you cannot look away from in the NBA, which is why Brian Windhorst is with us. And Windy, you were in the building and on the court before the game. I want you to take me through what that atmosphere was like last night.
Well, you know, when Luka comes out for his pregame warm-ups, and this is something that was started when he was in Dallas, it's almost like a bit of a prize fighter because they change the music, or a wrestler or whatever. They changes over to his favorite Slovenian music. So everybody knew he's coming. They're waiting for the music to change. And then you've got Nico Harrison standing there in an electric blue suit. Very, very visible. Let me just say, Matt, it is normal for Nico Harrison to be out there in that spot. He is often out there in that spot. But in this moment, to be out there and very visible with Luka standing right in front of him, hundreds of people. The arena's empty, but there's hundreds of media and all kinds of people from both teams watching to see how it played out. Both men sort of circled each other, didn't make any move. Both of them were in position where they could have made a move, but it was really drama. I was sort of just smiling watching it. It's not something you normally see before a February basketball game.
Were we happy this reunion happened in L.A. because of the Hollywood and all the drama of it? Would this have been more fun maybe in Dallas?
No, obviously, the Dallas aspect of it is going to be unique. Really, there's people who have been around the league 30, 40 years who have never seen a situation exactly like this. The game in Dallas will be fascinating, especially if Anthony Davis is healthy come the second week of April.
What did Luka and the Lakers, and I can't wait for that, by the way, what did they say after the game about how Luka felt and just the whole experience in and of itself?
Well, it was clear that Luka was, mentally exhausted by this game. He admitted he hadn't slept well. He admitted it was very tiring. And the Mavericks just were not going to allow him to have a huge game, or they were going to do everything they possibly could to prevent it. They double-teamed him more than he's been double-teamed in any other game this season. They were determined to force the ball out of his hands and to make the other Lakers beat them. And the Lakers did, and Luka did. He had 12 assists. He read the game and made it happen. He also didn't shoot well. He's not been shooting well generally. He's coming off this calf injury. So it wasn't the kind of performance he probably would have imagined, but it was probably about the best he could have given under the circumstances.
Yeah, because you break down, if you really look at the numbers, because we're fascinated by the triple-double, and I mean, it is a triple-double, so he did make a point really in the stat line, but if you really dive into it, he still hasn't been Luka yet. We all await that because we know what he's capable of. So was Brian Windhorst. Windy, thank you. Beat up Joel Embiid and the 76ers as we welcome in our Tim Bontemps, who's been covering this thing from top to bottom. And Bontemps, what is the latest on Joel Embiid and his health?
Well, the latest, Matt, is that he will not be with the Sixers again tonight against the New York Knicks, the second straight game he's missed. And Embiid has not stepped on the court since the end of the third quarter of Saturday's loss to the Brooklyn Nets. It looked like he maybe tweaked that knee in the third quarter of that game. He's also been dealing with a foot issue. And after getting imaging done on that left knee on Monday, Matt, the Sixers and Joel Embiid are in a process of going to talk to doctors to figure out what the next steps are and whether Embiid is going to come back at some point this season. Obviously, this has been a completely lost season for both Embiid and the Sixers. He's played in 19 of what will be 58 games for Philadelphia this season. And for the last decade, Matt, the story of the Sixers has been whenever Joel Embiid has been on the court, he has been a top 5 player in the league, and the Sixers have been dominant when he has been on the court. Those things have not been the case this season. That is why this situation is so much different than what we've seen from Embiid and the Sixers moving forward. And that's really what both sides are trying to drill into right now to figure out, as Embiid himself said after last week's loss to the Boston Celtics, what it will take to, quote, fix the problem with this left knee to get himself back to the player he's been before. That's what they're trying to decide right now. And the next update we're going to get from the team will be what that process looks like and whether Embiid has played his final game for the 76ers this season.
Yeah, you have to wonder, with all the money they sank into this team and this roster to make a run, if it's not going to happen, why jeopardize the future with the player? Like you said, when he's on the court, he's one of the best in the NBA. We just have not seen that this year. That's our Tim Bontemps with the latest. Tim, thank you.
NBA reporter Brian Windhorst back with us. Brian, what more can you tell us about the 76ers' approach to the rest of the season?
So you look in the standings, Jay, and they are one or two games out of the 10th seed, which means that they're still technically competing for the play-in, but they're like 7 games out of the 9th seed. So really, they're struggling right now to have to potentially be on the road for 2 play-in games. But then you have to pivot it around and look at where they are in the opposite standings, the reverse standings. Right now, they have the 6th chance at having the top pick. And that's really important because if their pick is 6 or higher, they keep it. If it's 7 or lower, it goes to Oklahoma City. So they are right on the edge here as they're evaluating what to do with Joel Embiid going forward and potentially even other injured players on their team. And then they got to look at whether it's worth going into the play-in or worth trying to play for their draft pick. It's a completely untenable position. It's not something you want to be in, but because of the protection on that pick, they have to seriously consider making the draft their priority over making the playoffs. And those are the decisions organizationally Philly is staring in the face as they get ready for this game with the Knicks tonight.
Yeah, they get the Knicks tonight. New York coming off 2 straight blowout losses to the Cavs and the Celtics, but they could be getting some good news on the injury front. What's the latest on Mitchell Robinson?
Yeah, so Mitchell Robinson, their franchise center, has yet to play this season, recovering from off-season foot surgery. He is listed as out for tonight's game against the 76ers, but there are indications that he could be back this weekend when the Knicks make a road trip to Memphis and Miami. He has been practicing for several weeks. And look, when he does come back, expect him to be on a minutes restriction. They're going to try to protect him because he had foot surgery last year, re-injured it, so they're going to try to play for the long haul. But getting Robinson back not only gets a really good rim protector, but it gives Tom Thibodeau options. They have to ask so much of Karl Anthony Towns. He's often victimized at that end. Just having a relief valve could change the way the Knicks play their entire defense.
Knicks fans watching right now going, please, please let him come back, let it work, please, please.
I mean, Jay, when you look at the totality of her career with the college championships, WNBA championships, the Olympic gold medal, she is certainly the greatest woman we have seen play the game, at least in the WNBA era. And it's interesting to hear her talk about where the game is now, because a lot of the reasons it is where it is in 2025 is because of the career, the 20-year magnificent career of Diana Taurasi, one of the great competitors that we have ever seen. And, you know, talking to her last year at the Final Four, it seemed like she wasn't quite sure when she was going to retire. The one thing she knew for sure is that she wasn't going to let people know ahead of her retirement season. This is how she wanted to do it, quietly in February, sort of par for the course of the personality of Diana Taurasi, always keeping it about basketball.
I'm not mad at her. Go out on your own. Do whatever you want to do. Rebecca, basketball fans, we've seen her dominate the game for more than 2 decades. What can you tell us about her demeanor away from the cameras during practice and the shoot-arounds that stuff we can't see?
Jay, what's interesting is you see how ultra competitive she is in games, that she talks trash. We used to talk on the air that you never poke the bear, because if you did anything to incite Diana Taurasi as an opponent, you would have to watch out. But one of the interesting things that we would notice throughout the course of her career, going to shoot-arounds, you would go and watch the Phoenix Mercury, and there was no one who clapped more for her teammates, encouraged more, gave more high fives throughout the course of a shoot-around than Diana Taurasi. Even this past summer when we were at the All-Star game and the national team, the Olympic team, was playing against the All-Stars and we were at that national team practice, it was the same thing. The incredible leadership, the way she used her voice, the way she was always dapping up teammates. And it's something that Sue Bird referred to in the Time magazine article. She said, the difference with Dee is the way she makes her teammates feel. That is the separator. She just would make them believe they could do even more than...
Chào các bạn đến với kênh YouTube của mình. Bây giờ mình sẽ đi tô màu để cho các bạn cùng xem. Trên tay mình đây là những sản phẩm mình đã in sẵn để mình tô màu. Mình sẽ tô những bức tranh thật đẹp để gửi tặng đến các bạn. Và không thể thiếu đó là chiếc điện thoại để mình quay video, giá đỡ điện thoại. Và đây là bút sáp màu. Bây giờ mời các bạn cùng theo dõi quá trình mình tô màu.